welcome to the substitutes, guys. I'm Gaurav, that's Majid, that's Omar. Today, we are going to be talking about Newcastle again and asking a question which I think maybe other channels have not been ballsy enough to ask. Are Newcastle toxic for the Premier League under this new ownership? I want to get the opinion of a man who has no loyalty to any team, but loves the money. Magic. What do you think?
It's the exact opposite. Football is toxic to Newcastle. Newcastle is good for the fans, it's good for the city, it's good for the region, and it's good for the sport. I think football is running scared because Newcastle got the top dog with the fattest wallet. That's what the problem is. It's the size of the wallet, it's not the wallet itself.
Look, I can agree with that to a point, but I think they are toxic. And just want to say that the consortium first, when they made the bid, they pulled out because they thought they would fail the league owners and directors test. And we know the reasons why. That alone makes it very toxic. But where I agree with you is that anybody who focuses their hate just on Newcastle, just on them, they're hypocrites. Massively.
So I guess that involves City as well, and then PSG as well, and then other clubs at Chelsea as well. Magic?
All of them. I don't know
Mm.
why we're drawing, like, why are the Glazers at United considered okay when they've, like, buried the club under? They've taken it public and then buried it under in public. Why is that considered, like, white collar crime that leads to unemployment is okay? It's the, like, street thugs, the guys who are robbing one on one. That's the problem. It's not the one to many people. Like, this all started the day you gave Chelsea to Roman. The day you
Exactly.
sold Abramovich is the
Yeah.
day. This is where tolerance, zero tolerance, is so important. If you tolerate one, at that point it becomes a number. Why not tolerate 100? Why not tolerate 500 units? Like, at that point, it's just so. The day you gave up this human rights football human rights commission you're talking about that is allowed the hosting of the World Cup in Russia and in Qatar now. Uh, like, their test, first off, who are they to test anyone? Who's testing the tester? Who's watching the watchman?
Sorry. Sorry, just want to add, right? Like the consortium pulled out, and who got involved? Who pressured the Premier League to make the sale? The UK government. Like that says a lot, right? And just this year, they kicked out Abramovich. I'm sorry, but if you genuinely care about the ethics of having Saudi owners, just like you said, then apply the same standards to everyone else. You kicked out Abramovich. I don't get why the Saudis aren't being kicked out right now.
It's like a bad episode of Twilight Zone. We see, like, the football town gets scared of Chelsea ownership, and the same. A lot of these discussions, is Chelsea toxic for football? Was the discussion
20 years
back
ago.
then.
Yeah.
Is City toxic for football? Was the discussion back then. Is PSG toxic for football? But we never do any of the bankers or any of the, like, any of these people who are leveraging debt, or even
Mm.
doing, even getting their money from unethical means. We don't know what their factories, who's working in their factories in terms of sweatshops and stuff. I'll say it very clearly. The other thing is, and the reason I mentioned the Twilight Zone is because with City and Chelsea, Fergie, Sir Alex Ferguson from United, was very fearful and almost xenophobic towards Jose Mourinho and Roman Abramovich. And the thing is, though, in both cases, yeah, I messed it up, but whatever. He's rich enough to, like, we don't care.
Yeah, who
Um,
gives a fuck?
the thing is, in both of those cases, and now definitely in Newcastle's case, given the reaction on the comments from last time for your guys' video, is that Newcastle is doing it the right way. It's not
Yeah.
like they did a giant marketing blitz and they went out and bought Ronaldo and they, like, showing off their money. No, they've relaxed. It's slow and steady. City did the same thing. They might have had an initial splash, but that's like foundational pieces of a business that you're buying, and then you're, like, building on top of that. And they had 3, 4, 5 managers, right? It took a while. So it's not like they just went and bought the league. So I don't know why they're toxic. No,
I
they're building things.
I'll agree with your point overall, but I think one differentiation that you can make is that City, for their first 10 years, their net spend was insane, dude. Like they spent a lot. And I don't think Newcastle have done the same thing
Well,
or in the same way. That's
look, they spent 118 million pounds this transfer window, and they said they would spend 60 to 80. United said they would spend I don't know 120, 150. They spent 230. All right, I don't I it's hypocritical. It's very hypocritical. Like it's Chelsea. They bought everyone in that first year. I think it was under I can't remember who their manager was. But like they just bought everybody before they brought in Mourinho. And the same with City. They just went after everyone United bought or what we're in for, right? They just wanted to be the annoy the big kids in town, right?
The noisy
When you look at
neighbors. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly, noisy
yeah.
neighbors. When you look at Newcastle, they're doing it organically. They're so smart about it, right? And not only have they been smart about it, they're rising up the table and nobody's giving them any credit.
Yep.
That's what's so
But it's
annoying to
still toxic.
everybody.
It's still toxic. It's still toxic. I just want to say it is still toxic, but the whole thing is toxic, right?
Yeah. And Magic, go ahead.
That's what's so annoying to everybody is they are kind of like for all of the like initial pre-hype promotion that they're gonna do this and they're gonna do that. Like, no, we're not doing anything. You guys are just projecting your fears onto us. We're doing us. If that means we need to spend money today, that means we need to spend money. If that means we need to do this. And I just want to mention with City, by the way, they have been very good for football. Again, they built where United spent only on the men's team, basically 85% of the, I don't know these figures, I'm pulling them out of my thing, but a vast majority was spent only on the men's team. City invested in football. They invested in global teams. They have bought different teams around the world. They're promoting women's team. They're working on the youth team. They've worked on the region in general, economic growth in terms of like building up properties and stuff.
They've invested in Manchester. And
Yeah,
that's
okay.
one of the
So let's take City out of this for a bit, right? Because like I don't want to compare City and Newcastle exactly. I think
Mhm.
I think when we talk about Newcastle, right, it is glass houses. I think as fans, you have to be, or as a journalist, or as someone in the media, or wherever the fuck you are, you've got to be pretty careful when you talk about this. Not because you're afraid of the Saudi government or anything like that, but because your club could tomorrow also be bought by a state. And you might not necessarily agree with everything that they do. I think that's where football is going. It's going to mega rich, kind of huge transfer fees are going to come in. And not that Newcastle have done that, because Newcastle have bought well, they bought smart, and they bought in the places that they needed to reinforce and improve. They've not gone out and bought everyone and splashed the cash or anything like that. So I think with what Majid was saying is actually a really good point. Ethics are a very, very complicated web. And if you're taking sponsorship from Nike, which Liverpool does, those jerseys are built in sweatshops.
Mhm.
Every footballer who's wearing Adidas or Nike, those cleats were built in sweatshops. So where do we draw the line? And if we are going to draw the line one place, we have to draw it for everyone, which we're not going to do. So I think maybe we have to accept the fact that this is the way football's going. Imagine.
Which is why I say quite often, Viva la ESL.
Okay. Now you've
Bro,
pissed fucking
no,
everyone off. Now you
now,
pissed everyone off.
now
Now
that's
you
it.
pissed
Now that's it.
everyone off.
If you want, you can cancel him. I'd be happy with that. Thank you very much.
Guys, please like and subscribe.
Viva
We're
la
gonna get
ESL.
Magic to a hospital or a therapist or just fucking some medication. Like, subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. We're the subs.